How's it going, YouTube? In this video we have another match. We have Mastemon played by myself against Blue Hybrid. So I've always played Mastemon ever since she came out in 1.5. Honestly, it's been what I've played the most, next to Garurumon probably. And I've always found success trying to make it work in different formats, you know, all the way up to BT6. Mastemon deck is even what I played in Nationals. In BT7 I really hadn't played Mastemon because I know that Mastemon in BT8 is going to be super cool, so I was like, you know what, let's just chill, play some different stuff. You know, I was messing with the Rasenmon and whatnot. But one of my friends was like, you know, I want to play Mastemon, and I was like, alright, let's try and make it work. So the idea here is that we're trying to use the hybrid engine, mainly because Jet Sylvie is kind of broken, and as a way to cheaply digivolve into the Mastemon. My top end is still, you know, 4 Mastemons, and I have 1 Wargrave and other spicy stuff. Now the deck is, you know, still a work in progress, but we're trying to make it work. Anyway, we're off to a pretty decent start with the TK. Mimic has to swing over the Stravi so that we don't just get rushed down, and Jet Sylvie kind of expensive there. So the thing about this deck is that, like, I don't have the full hybrid package, but you know, we obviously do play hybrids and Zoes and Jet Sylvie because, you know, again, she's really good. But sometimes like this, when you're just regularly building a chain in the back, you have to digivolve into Jet Sylvie, and in that case, she basically has no effect, right? That said, though, question is like whether it's still worth running Jet Sylvie, because in the other case, where you digivolve for 1 and you get to recover, it's absolutely amazing. Also, if your level 4 is just a regular hybrid, you can still digivolve Jet Sylvie on top for 3, which is expensive, but you'll still get the recovery, so it's still okay. And the idea is that Jet Sylvie is going to be giving us extra life to work with, which, you know, kind of mitigates the Mastemon self-damage. Opponent going very aggressive though. He's got double Tamers, 2 bodies, and a Rookie in the back. So I think this game we're kind of just getting rushed down. We play Zoe, see if we can pick up something. It's going to be a Casamon. Might, you know, give me some plays. Mastemon right now is kind of expensive. Like, I'd have to give over a ton of memory, plus give him extra memory for the mat and take self-damage, which doesn't seem like the greatest idea, right? Maybe Mastemon herself is just not the greatest in a meta like this against Blue Hybrid. But, you know, I love the card. I've always been very fond of Mastemon. You can see from the mat, obviously. And I figured we'd try and make it work, you know, try some stuff out. Okay, so opponent is going, you know, pretty aggro. He's got Boko for extra memory, Tamers. Honestly, if he just has double hybrid, I'm pretty sure we just die this turn. He has another Boko. Maybe find the hybrid he was missing. So usually in this case, like, the Boko will cost you a memory as you spend 3 and get, you know, 2 back. But because he had another Boko out, is still going to be getting extra memory to work with, which is more than enough for him to go into double hybrid, which is definitely the correct play here. Now my security is not like super stacked. I did consider playing Purge Shine, which everybody hypes up, and insecurity here would be insane, sure, but I'm not necessarily sold on the card. I'm mainly trying out Wyvern's Breath. As I'll say in this video, we're just trying to build that, see if I like it. But yeah, opponent just, you know, super rushed down, and that's gonna be the game, right? Now, like, you might see the standard Blue Hybrid of like play control, you know, freeze and stun endlessly. But sometimes, like, bro, you can still just play the aggro game just fine, right? Like, think of the way my opponent played that, which was well played on his part, you know, just going very aggro with the rookies, using the Bokos to get the free memory to work with, and then just having hybrids for extra attacks, right? Sometimes the strategy at its most basic core is still pretty strong. That game I kind of just get ran over, and, you know, if I was able to get heal from the Jet Sylvie or something else started, we might have been okay, but we just didn't really get enough time to set up. Let's go into game 2. You can see that we are playing with mulligans, so we're post Digifast, but pre-Ultimate Cup. So Ultimate Cup is going to be mulligan but no side deck, so that's what we're playing at locals. Opponent has Stravi and a Tommy, pretty solid opener. I had the mulligan, but we were able to find a rookie, which is nice. Set up a Rise Greymon. I love Rise Greymon, and you know, I've always played Rise Greymon and Mastemon, but in theory, it should be better in a build like this because we actually have more yellow tamers, such as the Zoe that we just got from security. So Rise Greymon pretty good, you know, having a bunch of targets to work with. And Rise Gremlin into Mastemon always feels kind of nice. He goes into the Madoki Betamon. We're going to Digiverse to play a TK. Just, you know, pretty strong. Absolutely love the Rise Gremlin here. You know, the Strabi did survive though, so we'll likely have to swing at it. But I should be in a pretty decent spot, I feel like. We can even potentially, you know, go into our Mastemon right away. Give him memory to work with, sure, but, you know, Trash and Security is nice because he doesn't get to check his tamers, such as the Davis right there, absolutely huge. And then we get to bring a body back. And, you know, if that body is like, it was a Gatomon, so we get the heal, which is super nice. Also, I know that there's like terrible glare right in the middle of the screen, and I apologize for that, but it is what it is. I definitely wanted to showcase this game because it was a good one. But yeah, in this build, like, if Mastemon summons a Casamon or a Sephirmon, you could still, like I was saying, Digimon to Seph, Jet Sylphiel cost 3, but you get the heal, which is nice. But, you know, I still play the cards that make Mastemon good, so we have Mimicmon and the Gatomon. Gatomon pretty solid. Opponent going, you know, kind of aggressive once again, except that this time we have TK to work with, and the Mastemon with the Rise Gremlin under it is super nice. So if he's not able to strip that source, we get actually a ton of value out of that. He freezes the Gato, but dies to security. And as you see, my deck has a ton of ways to get, you know, life back. The Howlin is going to stun the Mastemon, so pretty solid play. It's a great answer to the Rise Gremlin and Herald, which would have otherwise answered the Madoki Betamon for free. But we have, you know, the standard hybrid shenanigans, the Jet Sylphy for 1, get the recovery. You know, Jet Sylphy is just such a powerful card. And this is the main combo that I'm trying to achieve with the deck, right? It's like Starmon to clean up the Betamon is fantastic. So yeah, the idea is that like we can go into a level 5 for 3 memory, which is really good, right? Hybrid deck can do that. Jet Sylphy is going to give me the heal. And then we can go into Mastemon, who is, in my opinion, just a very powerful level 6 in general. As you can see, you know, Trash and opponent security is fantastic. Summon extra body is always good. And then we have a variety of things that we could summon to make it even better, such as, you know, Starmon for clear, Mimicmon for memory gain, Gatomon for recovery and blocker, you know, Bushiagamon for extra attacks. Your opponent has to go into Korikaku. We have quite a bit of board though, and he doesn't have a ton of memory, so I feel like it's very difficult for him to get a ton of stun. He might be able to go like Korikaku into Korikaku, or just go into a Beowulf right away. But even then, that's only answering 1 Digimon, not stunning anything else. And we've actually done quite a bit of damage with the Mastemon Trashin. The Gatomon is a blocker. He might have not known that, you know, a lot of people are just not aware. Goes into Hexablow, which I thought was pretty interesting. So like I was saying early on, we're playing with no side decks. So one thing that was cool about the side deck format, by the way, Salmon surviving there is really bad for me. And hitting a Tommy is awful. So hey, that's blue security for you, right? But I was saying about side decks is like a lot of people had these like, you know, you have these cards that you want to side and you find yourself just signing them in most games. And you get to a point where you're like, hey, why don't I just main deck these cards, right? And this is what I like about not having side decks is that like, instead of you playing blue hybrid and being like, okay, you know what? I side Hexablow because it's good. Like without side decks, you have to commit to playing Hexablow. But then now your deck is cool, it's interesting, right? Like it's not a cookie cutter build and like you're making the decision and the call to play that Digimon and main deck, and it means that you can't just side it out if it happens to not be good, right? So I personally like that about not having side decks because it's gonna force you to commit to those choices. We memory choked our opponent to 1 to make it very awkward since he had no memory tamer. Sadly, he did have a Hammer Spark to work with, and the Hexablow is super annoying, of course, stopping the Mastemons from being able to attack. I did give it secure attack -2 so we wouldn't die this turn. He can still swing to just strip the source. And then place a Boko. So opponent is pretty set up. Like, you know, the Hexablow is doing a great job of stalling. And honestly, these Mastemons are not going to be able to attack at all, right? So definitely doing a great job, you know, showing why Hexablow can be good. And when he is good, he's, you know, pretty solid. The Hexablow suspended is a bit risky since, you know, he could potentially be swung over. But realistically, he only gave me 3 memory to work with. There's no way that we're going to be able to swing over that Hexablow, right? Opponent is at 1 security though. We've done a good job of, you know, chipping away with the Mastemon effect. And now with 3 memory, it's a matter of saying we can close the game out. Because I don't think we can live another turn. And the Salamon is gonna, you know, it whiffed, so we didn't get that recovery either, right? So the idea is that we go hybrid, spending 2 memory. If we hit into a spark here, I'd lose the game for sure, but we don't. And then we won, we can digivolve into a Judge Pinomon and still be my turn to swing for game. Because, you know, since we have the swords, we can now attack. So Hexablow, really cool card. Again, I definitely like the tech from this player. It's definitely a card that changes the way you have to play the game, forces you to play around different situations. And again, I like it. It's definitely powerful in the right situation. And you can see, you know, he runs like Absolute Blast and things like that. So even though it's like a pretty standard blue hybrid, if you will, the blue hybrid list in general has so many open slots for techs and shenanigans, which is why, you know, it kind of benefited so well off of the side deck. And now without the side deck, you still have room to play those cards, but like I was saying, you have to commit to them, which I think is a good thing for the game. So that was game 2. We're going into a game 3 here. You know, game 1 we got kind of ran over, but I think game 2 did a good job of showing, you know, how the deck is supposed to work and why it would be good, right? Jet Sylphine to Mastemon was definitely pretty cool. Let's see who's going first here for game 3. Opponent is gonna mulligan. Again, I think having mulligan is fantastic. Feel like the game should definitely have them to eliminate the amount of non-games that we have. So I just have a bunch of rookies to work with. But hey, Pulsemon for card draw is good. Although, you know, this deck really wants to be building up as soon as possible. Whether that be, you know, setting up the Tamers or, you know, just building in the back to a Rise Gray, for example. So the double rookie is not ideal. I only do this because I don't have a level 4. Because I know myself very well. Like, if we have a 4, we play a 4, I promise. But hey, we have 2 bodies to work with. And nothing's getting frozen just yet. So there is a world in which we just start swinging aggressively. Gonna digivolve into a Mimikmon. Mimikmon, very low DP, but pretty powerful effect. It's just one of the Digimon that you definitely want in your trash to bring back from Mastemon. Then we're going to a Rise Gray. Now the Rise Gray here is kind of a bit scary because if it gets its sources stripped, we will not be able to Digiburst. So if he, like for example, just played a Tommy there, it actually really hurt me. Kumamon so far is annoying. Korikaku is gonna be able to stun the Pulsemon. And then he might just be swinging at security, I guess. Yeah, I mean, you know, the game he won by being very aggressive. Stramimon living in security is actually terrible for me. Sometimes, you know, you'll have these like 2 or 3 rookies swing and you expect them to die and they survive. And it completely changes the game. Like, look at the situation we're in now. He's got, you know, definitely hybrids to choose from with the Strabby. But yeah, basically 4 bodies on the board. I have 1 Digimon Frozen. Like, sure, we have a level 5 to work with. But, you know, the Mastemon is not the greatest. I might still be forced to go with it. At least I do have a Tamer to Digiburst. He wasn't able to get rid of all the sources. So that's nice. And again, you know, like, we could potentially go into Mastemon, bring back Mimikmon, swing. Actually, no, we can Mimic because of the Madoki Betamon. So Madoki Betamon actually ruining my day there. Ruining my day and stopping a very cool play. But hey, that's blue, right? Having access to both the memory blockers and the evil reducers. One of the reasons why blue hybrid is very strong. So we're gonna just swing over the Strabby, have to get the body of the board, play a Starman to clean the Madoki Betamon so we can finally go into some high plays. But for now, it's gonna be just yellow memory, try and find something that we're missing. It's possible that I didn't have the Mastemon or didn't want to commit to it just yet. But yeah, like, blue security is so insane these days with so many Tamers and options and annoying things. Like, I love the idea of trashing the security with Mastemon. Of course, it's the double-edged sword as, you know, we take damage and then as you saw from game 1, we can definitely just get ran over as well. Here we're gonna go into the Korikaku spam, which is obviously very solid. He's kind of like chill, not swinging too much just yet. Doesn't have a Tamer set up, so honestly, I don't think it's the worst spot. He is gonna be swinging. Korikaku does die to a Jet Sylphine security. And this feels very doable. The fact that I was able to use the Starman to get his Madoki Betamon off the board just means that we're gonna have, you know, quite a bit of memory to work with. Now, he did manage to stun all my Digimon, which is the blue hybrid classic. So we do have memory to work with, but it puts me in an awkward spot. Salas swings and once again survives. So poor Salomon this game, or this set, has not really done its job. But hey, that's Salomon for you, right? A lot of people like to think that Salomon has GM in these days. I'm in a rough spot though. He's got, you know, 2 Digimon, Luckily, he doesn't have a tamer. That's like the one thing that's saving me right now. I feel like if he had a tamer, we'd be in a horrible situation. But with 4 Digimon on the board, 3 memory to work with, and a Howlin', we're going to play the Cubemon to potentially slow down, you know, any Bell shenanigans. Going to the Master, which is gonna once again trash the Davis. Fantastic. Master's gonna summon the Starman. We have 6 Digimon to clear the Kurikaku. That was a fantastic play. We're not only able to deal with his board, push damage, and set up so many bodies on the board to work with, because now I'm the one that's, you know, trying to lethal for him. So I think that was a really solid turn. And again, showing like why Mastemon is the powerful card. And I mean, I'm just a broken record at this point, but I love Mastemon. I always have. She's great design, great Digimon, and you know, it's a great side Digimon for many decks. Like you might see Lilith decks play 1 Mastemon here and there, but I've always liked the idea of just playing Mastemon as the main Digimon, because if you give her the support, she can definitely make things happen. Gonna go into the Kurikaku, but you know, he really doesn't have a lot of memory to work with. And my idea here is that, like, bro, there's no way you could stun everything, right? Like, I know Blue Hybrid does some fancy stuff, but there's no way he can freeze this whole board, is it? He might have been trying to think of a way to go into a Hexablow, you know, to make my life difficult. But because we were able to memory choke him by using the yellow memory boost, and I have the Cubone on the board, just in case there's any shenanigans, I feel relatively safe. He's got 0 memory to work with. We have so many attacks. He's only been able to freeze, you know, 1 body so far. Just thinking about, you know, what he's gonna do. How he's gonna try and survive. He does have the Howlin' still, I believe, right? But again, because it's not a tamer, I feel relatively safe. This has been a good back and forth though. And I hope you guys are enjoying the Mastemon deck. I'm still trying to make it work, like I said. I'm not entirely sure, like, how good it is. It definitely doesn't feel as good as in previous formats, but you know, it is what it is. I was gonna absolute blast my Cubemon just to get a body off the board. So with this line of play, he's got 3 security and I only have 3 attacks. That said though, we are playing the hybrid engine. You know, we have to play hybrids to make the Jetsilphy worth it. Absolute blast at the end, but I do have the hybrid and that's gonna be game. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thanks for watching.